The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Khanittha Srirat. Chapter 15. Back from the Dead. But there was no joyfulness in the village that Saturday afternoon. The Harpers and Aunt Polly's family were overcome with grief. And usual quiet processes. The villagers talked little, but they sighed often. The Saturday holiday seemed abundant to the children. They were not interested in their sports and gradually gave them up. In the afternoon, the English teacher found herself wandering about the deserted schoolyard and feeling really unhappy, but she saw nothing there to comfort her. Presently, she stopped and said to herself, it was just her. Oh, if he was to do it again, I wouldn't say that he was very smart. I wouldn't say that for the world, but he's gone now, and I will never see him anymore. These thoughts made her burst into tears, and she walked slowly away. Then a group of boys and girls, Tom's and Joe's playmates, came by and stood looking over the fence and talking in respectful tones of how Tom did so and so the last time they saw him, and how Joe said this and that. When the Sunday school hour was finished and the next morning, the church bell began to ring very slowly and solemnly, instead of ringing in the usual way. The villagers began to gather, staying a moment in the entrance of the class or to converse in whisper about the said event. None could remember when the little class had been so full before. There was finally a waiting pause, and then Aunt Polly entered with Sis and Mary, followed by the Harper family, all in deep back, the villagers and the old minister, as well rose respectfully and stood until the mourners were seated in front. The minister, pale and moving scared, song was sung, and as the service proceeded, the minister drew a picture of the crummy wares and rare promise of the lost children that every sight here, thinking that he recognized their pictures, felt sad, and remembering that he had only seen faith in the poor boys, the minister described some good deeds in the life of the departed, which show their sweet, generous natures. The villagers became more and more moved as the tale went on, till at last there was not dry eye in the whole class. Among the innocents up there was a slight noise which nobody noticed. A moment later the class door ceased. The minister raised his streaming eyes above his handkerchief and stood as if turned to stone, gazing in the direction of the door. All turned round, rose to their feet, and stared as if they could not believe their eyes while the three these boys came marching up the middle of the class, Tom leading, Joe next, and at last there had been hidden upstairs listening to their own friendly service. Aunt Polly, Mary, and the Harpers drew themselves upon their leftover ones, covered them with kisses, and poured out thanksgivings, while Paul had stood ashamed and uncomfortable in his legs, not knowing what to do or where to hide from so many unfriendly eyes. He started to creep away, but Tom seized him and said, "Aunt Polly, it isn't fair. Somebody must be glad to see Huck, and so they shall. I'm glad to see him, poor motherless boy." And the loving attentions which Aunt Polly showered upon him made him more uncomfortable than he was before. Suddenly, the minister stood at the top of this voice. "Price, place, good from whom all blessings flow. Sing, and put your heart into it." And did. While the grand old song shook the roof, Tom Sawyer, the prelate, looked aloud upon the envying children about him, and confessed in his heart that this was the proudest moment of his life.